Section 3 of Brazilian Tales. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Leni. Brazilian Tales by various authors. Translated by Isaac Goldberg. Section 3. Life by Joaquim Maria Machado de Assis. End of time. Ahasverus, seated upon a rock, gazes for a long while upon the horizon, athwart which wing two eagles, crossing each other in their path. He meditates, then falls into a doze. The day wanes. I have come to the end of time. This is the threshold of eternity. The earth is deserted. No other man breathes the air of life. I am the last. I can die. Die. Precious thought. For centuries of centuries I have lived, wearied, mortified, wandering ever. But now the centuries are coming to an end, and I shall die with them. Ancient nature, farewell. Azure sky, clouds ever reborn, roses of a day and of every day, perennial waters, hostile earth that never would devour my bones, farewell. The eternal wanderer will wander no longer. God may pardon me if he wishes, but death will console me. That mountain is as unyielding as my grief. Those eagles that fly yonder must be as famished as my despair. Shall you too die, divine eagles? Of a surety, the race of men is perished. The earth is bare of them. I hear a voice, the voice of a human being. Implacable heavens, am I not then the last? He approaches. Who are you? There shines in your large eyes something like the mysterious light of the archangels of Israel. You are not a human being? No. Of a race divine, then? You have said it. I do not know you. But what matters it that I do not? You are not a human being. Then I may die. For I am the last, and I close the gate of life. Life, like ancient Thebes, has 100 gates. You close one, and others will open. You are the last of your species? Then another, better species will come, made not of clay, but of the light itself. Yes, last of men, all the common spirits will perish forever. The flower of them it is which will return to earth and rule. The ages will be rectified. Evil will end. The winds will thenceforth scatter neither the germs of death nor the clamor of the oppressed, but only the song of love everlasting and the benediction of universal justice. What can all this posthumous joy matter to the species that dies with me? Believe me, you who are immortal, to the bones that rot in the earth, the purples of Sidonia are worthless. What you tell me is even better than what Campanella dreamed. In that man's ideal city there were delights and ills. Yours excludes all mortal and physical ailments. May the Lord hear you, but let me go and die. Go, go, but why this haste to end your days? The haste of a man who has lived for thousands of years. Yes, thousands of years. Men who existed scarcely, scores of them, invented a feeling of ennui, tedium vitae, which they could never know, at least in all its implacable and vast reality, because it is necessary to have journeyed through all the generations and all the cataclysms to feel that profound surfeit of existence. Thousands of years? My name is Ahasverus. I dwelt in Jerusalem at the time they were about to crucify Christ. When he passed my door, he weakened under the burden of the beam that he carried on his shoulders, and I thrust him onward, admonishing him not to stop, not to rest, to continue on his way to the hill where he was to be crucified. Then there came a voice from heaven telling me that I too should have to journey forever, continuously, until the end of time. Such was my crime. I felt no pity for him who was going to his death. I do not know myself how it came about. The Pharisees said that the Son of Mary had come to destroy the law, and that he must be slain. I, ignorant wretch, wished to display my zeal, and hence my action of that day. How many times have I seen the same thing since, travelling unceasingly through cities and ages. Whenever zealotry penetrated into a submissive soul, it became cruel or ridiculous. My crime was unpardonable. A grave crime in truth, but the punishment was lenient. The other man read but a chapter of life. You have read the whole book. What does one chapter know of the other chapter? Nothing. But he who has read them all connects them and concludes. Are there melancholy pages? There are merry and happy ones too. Tragic convulsion precedes that of laughter. Life burgeons from death. Swans and swallows change climate, without ever abandoning it entirely. And thus all is harmonized and begun anew. You have beheld this, not 10 times, not 1,000 times, but ever. You have beheld the magnificence of the earth curing the affliction of the soul, and the joy of the soul compensating for the desolation of things, the alternating dance of nature who gives her left hand to Job and her right to Sardanapalus. What do you know of my life? Nothing. You are ignorant of human existence. I, ignorant of human life. How laughable! Come, perpetual man, explain yourself. Tell me everything. You left Jerusalem. I left Jerusalem. I began my wandering through the ages. I journeyed everywhere, whatever the race, the creed, the tongue, suns and snows, barbarous and civilized peoples, islands, continents. Wherever a man breathed, there breathed I. I never labored. Labor is a refuge, and that refuge was denied me. Every morning I found upon me the necessary money for the day. See, this is the last apportionment. Go, for I need you no longer. He draws forth the money and throws it away. I did not work. I just journeyed, ever and ever, one day after another, year after year, unendingly, century after century. Eternal justice knew what it was doing. It added idleness to eternity. One generation bequeathed me to the other. The languages, as they died, preserved my name like a fossil. The languages, as they died, preserved my name like a fossil. With the passing of time, all was forgotten. The heroes faded into myths, into shadow, and history crumbled to fragments, only 2 or 3 vague, remote characteristics remaining to it. And I saw them in changing aspect. You spoke of a chapter? Happy are those who read only 1 chapter of life. Those who depart at the birth of empires bear with them the impression of their perpetuity. Those who die at their fall are buried in the hope of their restoration. But do you not realize what it is to see the same things unceasingly, the same alternation of prosperity and desolation, desolation and prosperity, eternal obsequies and eternal hallelujahs, dawn upon dawn.